Hey everybody, this is Krista with Magnolia Ridge Farm and Gardens, and today I'm going to be making a lasagna, and this is a recipe I have been using for over 20 years. I actually started using this recipe and book when I had my gallbladder out in 1999, and I had to change the way I ate. And I've been able to go back some, but I do try to stay away from fat and stuff like that just because my body can't process it anymore. So I'm going to show you kind of how I've adapted this recipe. I used to follow it by the book, and now I've adapted it to use more vegetables and things from the farm. So let's get started. So this is the book that I use. My mom got me a few of these the year I got my gallbladder out. In this series of Secrets of Fat-Free Holiday, Secrets of Fat-Free Italian, Secrets of Fat-Free Cooking. This one is probably the most used one, and as you can see, I mean, it is all marked up, and it is very well used. But this lasagna recipe, and it's called Light and Lazy Lasagna, and I will try to find a link online for it, but it is probably one of my favorite just because of the ease of it and it's very basic. So I've tried several, and done some very elaborate ones, but this one is just kind of a tried and true, and I come back to it. So let's get started on it. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and apologize, but my tripod is broken, and I've been trying to use my big ring light to finish up my Canon video today. I have another one on order, but I needed to go ahead and get these lasagnas made because I'm putting one in the freezer and one is for dinner tonight because tonight is dance night for my daughter. So I will not be here to cook dinner, so I want to have something already made for when we get home. So I wanted to go ahead and get this done, so we're dealing with the broken tripod today. So hopefully everyone can hear me. If not, I will do a voiceover. So the first thing we're going to do is I've got to get some of my vegetables prepared because I'm going to be using dehydrated garlic. I need to get it into smaller pieces to make it usable. It's not working. There it goes. All right. So this is calling for 1.5 teaspoons of fresh crushed garlic, but I'm using dehydrated. So I want to use probably 3 teaspoons, which is 1 tablespoon. But because they are big pieces, I need to crush them up. Okay, so that's a little bit smaller. They'll probably get crushed up in the rest of the process. These are dehydrated squash pieces. So I'm going to add pretty much all of this. And what this is replacing is the 2 cups of fresh mushrooms because I cannot eat mushrooms. So I'm doing the dehydrated squash, and as it mixes in with the sauce, it'll kind of rehydrate some and add some nutrition and vegetables to this and replace my mushrooms. One more. Dusty. Okay, so now I'm going to do my onion. And because I am doing 2 recipes, I'm going to do 2 onions. Onion broth. The noise you hear is my wash machine. Because my laundry room is right there at my back door coming into the kitchen. Back in the 80s, when they built these ranch houses, they were not thinking about what would be the best for YouTube filming. Save that and make a good onion broth. Actually, let me add these back to it. Put this one back up. Put this one in here. There we go. For 1 can of crushed unsalted tomatoes. So I'm going to go with 3 cans of my regular tomatoes, but I'm going to drain the juice and then puree them with the onion in here, which will help that onion get chopped up a little bit more. Make a mess trying to pour it over here, so Alright, so this is going to go in with the beef that's on the stove cooking. And then this is the rest of the tomatoes. And I'm going to add one thing to these. Add some 2 cups of shredded zucchini that I had frozen. They have been thawing in my refrigerator. And unsalted tomatoes crushed. And I did 3 jars of tomatoes, so maybe we should do one more. Okay, so now we have all our tomatoes. I want to do the tomato paste. It says 2 tablespoons tomato paste, which I don't have, but I have dried tomato skins crushed up, and there's probably 3 to 4 tablespoons of that. So we're going to just add the whole thing. And that is going to add that real deep tomato flavor. Ah, I can't get it closed. And also help with some of the loose juice. So, and in place of the mushrooms, we are adding the dehydrated squash, and we have our garlic in here, so that goes in there. And then we also need 2.5 teaspoons of dried Italian seasoning. So I have my Italian seasoning, and we need 5 teaspoons since we're doubling the recipe. So we're going to go ahead and add it here. I don't have much of that left. Give it a quick mix. And that is everything for our sauce. Now we're going to heat this up, kind of bring it to a boil. Look how chunky that is. That is gorgeous. And I fully expect that squash to absorb some of this moisture. I probably could have ground it into more of a dust, but it should absorb, so we should be good. So I'm going to bring it up to a boil and then turn it down to simmer for 25 minutes. All right, it has come to a boil. So we're just going to let it cook. Okay, we're going to get our noodles cooking, and we're just going for an al dente. We don't want them fully cooked. We just want them partially cooked. I've had this box of noodles forever. I know the steam from the noodles is coming up there, but hopefully it doesn't cover it too much. So we are going to assemble our lasagnas. Oh yeah, this is nice and thick. That's exactly what we want. We want to cover the bottom. Hot. Whew. It's the part I never like. I mean, I guess you could cool them first, but you know, I don't want them to cool off. Last night while we were making tacos, I went ahead and shredded some mozzarella and Gouda, and then added in some Monterey Jack. And then there was a little bit of Colby Jack left from tacos, so I added it in here as well. Okay, so we're going to bake one for 45 minutes. And just in case it bubbles over, because I filled it up really high. And then the second one, I'm going to wrap really tight. And then I'm going to let it cool. And then put it in the freezer for dinner another night.